The enormous vacuum chamber makes a high vacuum, which is 3 levels before the supposed much higher vacuum of outer space, as we can see here. Considering that the suits these guys here are wearing reminded me of one thing: bubble wrap. Now let's see what happens to bubble wrap if we put it in a table vacuum pump.
Oh my God, look at it! Woo! Oh my God, look at it!
The ridiculous spacesuits, which the Hollywood and NASA Freemasons like for us to accept as real, would suffer the same fate in the vacuum of space as bubble wrap in a tabletop vacuum chamber, being popped and depleted of oxygen instantly. And seeing as the human body mainly consists of water, the following clip will demonstrate what would happen to these astronauts.
See a little bit of bubble start going, and whoa, it starts boiling. How cool is that?
But the ultimate and most dangerous test was a huge, specially constructed vacuum chamber.
They were able to pull all the air out to create a big vacuum. That way we could test our suits to make sure there was no leakage.
One such test narrowly avoided disaster. Jim LeBlanc was the test subject in the vacuum chamber.
This is one of the rare instances where they tried to use a spacesuit in a vacuum chamber, but quickly realized that it's impossible in a high vacuum, so they immediately started using swimming pools to train and remained silent on the absence of vacuum chamber training by astronauts, which basically is a lie by omission.
As I stumbled backwards, I could feel the saliva on my tongue starting to bubble just before I went unconscious. And that's kind of the last thing I remember.
Essentially, he had no pressure on the outside of his body, and that's a very unusual case to get.
Deadly situation forces one astronaut to cut his spacewalk by more than half after an equipment malfunction in outer space caused him to nearly drown inside of his own suit. It's an incredible story. Trace has more for it on this in Los Angeles.
Yeah, we all know, Martha, these spacewalks have become kind of routine when you're out there, but the bottom line is every astronaut knows when they step out of that capsule or space station that even the smallest nick in their spacesuit can mean instant death. This was all know, Martha, these spacewalks have become kind of routine when you're out there, but the bottom line is every astronaut knows when they step out of that capsule or space station that even the smallest nick in their spacesuit can mean instant death. This was...
You can
can see a little bit of bubbles start going. And, whoa, it started boiling. How cool is that?
Was an Italian astronaut. His name is Luca Parmitano, and he was on a 6.5-hour spacewalk. He was about an hour and a half in when he felt water on the back of his hands and then on the back of his head, and the water was increasing. Listen to him now. Try to figure out what the problem is. Play this.
Yeah, I'm thinking that it might not be the water bag. There's no other place for it to come. Unless it's sweat or urine. I guess it must be sweat then. Yeah. How much can I sweat though? My head is really wet, and I have a feeling that it's increasing.
It took 24 minutes to get him back inside, and then you see there another 11 minutes to get his helmet off. NASA says he could easily have drowned, but he was very calm the entire time.
Now next is a fun, because you could listen the breath of the scuba diver and the flowing of the bubbles when you breathe inside of a swimming pool. Now this is head white, and this is the first American spacewalk, and as you can see, that's the first American air bubble from the helmet. And again, a bit slower now. Look at that. 60 miles up is an acoustic, so there is no transmission of sound or heat. That's what they say why the International Space Station didn't melt down so far. They are in the vacuum of space, should be no water there. You can see that they float like they are in water, and usually the legs go up because it's where they don't have weight, so they are pushed up to the surface of the swimming pool.
Wheels, my haversack's good, there's no water in my helmet, and on my left glove, wheels, my haversack's good, there's no water in my helmet, and on my left glove, wheels, my haversack's good, there's no water in my helmet, and on my left glove,